So Biomendex was founded some 6 years ago. It's a university spin-off, basically from a biomechanical engineering background of the university. Tampere University in Finland is very strong on devices. Finland has 2 large university sites, but Tampere is definitely on the medtech side, the leading. So they're looking at the current products, and actually have a piece of the product here with me. It looks like a sugar cube. It's a soft one. I'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. And they looked at how surgeons operate and how difficult it is to operate, and also the complications of the patients. And they wanted to solve that, but in a simple way of using existing materials and reformulating the product, which makes it really a flexible product. So in essence, you can twist it, and it's like a memory foam, and it comes back to its original shape, and it kind of wedges and stays in the cavity where you put it in the bone. So that was the original idea. And they tested, of course, in animals first. We have the product on the market for vet use. So we have about 1,500 operations already done, 100% success rate, so great results. And that's kind of how it came. And now, of course, we're going for the human. We have some human trials ongoing in Europe, but the focus will be definitely US-led for us. So I'm a CFO, kind of the finance role, but I joined the company about 6 months ago. My family background, my father is an orthopedic surgeon. And so I work in healthcare industry in different companies over the last few years. But my father is an orthopedic surgeon, now retired, and he did a lot of surgeries, obviously, majorly hips, a lot of knees. And I came across the company. The company name is Biomendex, based out of Finland, and looked at their product, and actually immediately called my dad and I said, well, hey, what do you think of the product? Like, is there in it? And he was very excited. He said, had I had this product for the last 20 years, that would have made my life so much more easier, and also the patient's life. So through that, met the company and started helping them out. And this time now, I'm here at LSI, second time, representing Biomendex from Tampere, Finland. So originally, the company was planning to go more Europe-led, but looking at the regulatory strategies, how FDA versus EMA work with the CE mark and 510K. So with the US, this will be a 510K pathway, where we think is a lot faster, also a lot cheaper, so we can get faster to market and help the patients. So definitely we took a shift from European-led, and now we're going fully in the US, and Europe will at some point follow. And the way we are thinking about it, get the clearance in the US, get some revenue, and with that revenue, we can, afterwards pay the European trials, because we'll need, substantial trials in Europe. It will cost money and time, and we want to get faster to market. Problem we are addressing is basically 2 problems. One is the usability for the doctors, how they operate. So in essence, at the moment with the existing competitor products, you need to make the hole in the bone to fit the actual product. So if the product is too big, you basically need to cut the hole bigger, right? So it's very complicated to operate, takes a lot of time. And in our case, we can basically squeeze, you can cut it with a knife or scissors, you can squeeze it and then you put it in. So we can make the product fit the actual hole. So it makes the operations a lot faster, and it also acts as a scaffold for the bone to grow. So in about 1.5 years' time, it's all disappeared. It's all natural bone. And yeah, so that's kind of how we're looking at solving the problem. And also for the patients, you have one operations, you don't have multiple ones. You don't have to take bone grafting from another piece of the body. So it's going to win-win for everybody. And with that, the doctors can actually do more operations per day because they can operate faster, because it's a lot easier to use. So the existing market is really, the materials we're using, they've been used for decades, 20, 30 years, and there hasn't been that much of innovation. Of course, we have some competitors that are coming up with innovative products, but the basic standard of care is reusing these older materials that are brittle, they're hard, they're made out of glass, they break, and as I mentioned, the usability for the doctor is quite challenging. So that's really what we wanted to disrupt with the product. And, we have a lot of interest at the moment. We're talking to some strategics, of course, investors here. That's why we are here at the LSI. So that's why we want to really disrupt the market. And we're going first for the spinal fusion, and then later on OMF, so dental, and then, of course, the extremities. So there's basically 3 indications we're working on, which each need their own approvals, 510K, of course. So the product really, I have here now, it's like a block. It's a CNC machine, we can cut it. And then basically what you do is in an operation, you squeeze it. I can show it here, like you can twist it, squeeze it, and it comes back to its original shape. So you squeeze it, you put it in the cavity, and then like a memory foam expands and it basically interlocks itself. We also have a granulate, which is used for the oral application. And that's basically in a similar way that you also squeeze it, and as it expands, it interlocks itself. So it's a very easy, it doesn't migrate, doesn't fall off. So it's a very, very safe from that perspective. So, very good clinical outcomes, but that's really how the product works. And it's easy to transport. It is easy to store. So because we are using existing materials. So that's the beauty of it. And, we had the formulation and that's all patented. So we have a very strong IP protection with this, which we own 100% in the company. So the device works basically in an operation. What you do is you have the cavity in the bone, you squeeze the product, and it acts similar to like a memory foam. You squeeze it in, you put it in, and it expands and it interlocks, so it doesn't migrate, doesn't fall off. We have a solid one. We also have a granulate one with different, which we also selling for the vet use, as I mentioned. And that works the same way. You kind of like pack it, and then it slowly expands, and it kind of fills the void and stays there. That's the basic, and that's what we also have patented, because we use existing materials from the market, but we have a different formulation to make it. It is ceramic, but it's elastic ceramic in that sense. And that's what we have patented. All the major markets, of course. We own the IP 100%. We haven't licensed it from anybody. So I think, with that, it's a very attractive product. And I think it really addresses the need of, patients, but also the doctors. And that's, I think, where we, I guess our value proposition is the strongest. Like, hey, with our product, your operations are going to be a lot easier. Your work will be a lot easier. So the way companies are now, so we have an animal product on the market. It creates us some revenue, not enough revenue to develop the clinical pipeline, what we're trying to do, but, it gives us also great preclinical data. So we have about 1,500 operations, or 1,500 sold operations with 100% success rate. And then we are looking at doing the 510(k) submission early next year, hopefully get a clearance by the end of the year, or then, early 2026 for the spinal fusion, which is our lead indication in the US. And for that, of course, we're here at LSI raising funds. We're looking to raise about 10 million, Series A. We are thinking of maybe putting it in tranches 5 and 5. So 5 for the first 2 indications. As they're clear, then we go for the second ones. But that's, we can discuss in, the one-on-one with different investors and the interest and the appetite there. But that's what we're basically doing. At the same time, setting up a US entity, of course, because we're going US-led, and also scaling up the manufacturing for commercial grade in the US. At the moment, we are working on raising a round. We're also working on collaborations in the US to get the right KOLs. So hopefully this week we can announce we've been, planning a cooperation with the Mayo Clinic. And also with the Wake Forest. So we have, very good sites in the US, very good collaboration partners that are known to US market as well. So that's kind of the next step, what we're doing. And of course, the submission, 510(k), that will be early next year. So those are the biggest milestones and value inflections. On our end, of course, funding. So we are currently funded into end of Q1 of next year, and we are looking to raise additional funds to fund it. So where we are at the clinical stage now, we are looking to raise funds. We think the product has great value proposition. We are looking at a market that is highly growing market. It is large. We made projections. We also look at the competition, how they're selling. So I think, our projections, so we're looking at, cumulative sales for about $1 billion for the next 8 to 10 years. With this timeline, the investment we're looking for is not that big, 5 to 10 million to the market, 5 plus 5, I think is a relatively low risk from that perspective and very high return. The stock prices of our competitors, they keep going up. So we think it's a very exciting opportunity, very attractive opportunity to address this need. And we have a great company. We've done a lot of upgrades in our team, a lot of changes over there. So I think we are now ready at the stage. Okay, let's go move it from Finland, European focus-centered scientific organization into a commercial organization, and making it a success in the US.